Hey everybody, um, another interview for you guys. I know you guys love them because you keep asking for them. Tonight we have Bobby from No Monster Club on the show. Really excited to have him on. How are you, sir?
I'm very well.
Right, right
Thank
on,
you.
right
It's
on.
the 1st of August.
It is right. How's that? Yeah, I
Yeah.
love it. It's gonna be a
And that
good one.
and for that reason I have how ole aukaki. Happy August.
I love it. That's perfect, bro. That's gonna go over really good. Uh,
Google's amazing.
yeah, Google is amazing, man. I love their little translation thing. I could speak any language in the world, bro. Any language
Yeah.
in the world.
How
Um,
fluent am I?
Yeah,
I
you are 100% fluent in everything.
yeah.
um, you are the lead singer of the band,
Yes.
and the
And
band
the
is
brains of the operation.
you are the brains of the operation. I love it. Um, you're from where?
Dublin, Ireland.
Okay, so we had an email. What we do here is because our show is completely like listener powered. We got an email requesting some of your music. We have since played
That
last
wasn't
week.
me.
I know. last
I swear to God.
Last week we
Really cool.
played a couple tracks on our show. When we got the request, they said, "Hey, get these guys on the show," and here we are. How does it feel to have people request that kind of stuff?
That's really I was I don't know. I was kind of confused. I wasn't sure what was going on. I know my friend's family is over in Hawaii at the moment, and I said to him, "Here, is this your dad? You know, having a bit of a laugh or something?" And he was like, "No, definitely not." Like, so I don't know. I'm whoever it was. Thanks. I'm glad you liked it, and thanks for requesting us,
Right on.
Ronnie Rucker.
You have a lot of stuff. You put out a lot of albums, right? I mean, I don't do much research because I kind of like to keep these things pretty like, hey, how's it going? Nice to meet you. Let's
Yeah.
talk about you. But I did, Google you, and I did look at your website. You put out a lot of music, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
How many
But
albums
I
have?
like. I don't know. So I started. I started probably recording when I got a laptop for my from probably my 18th birthday. So I've had about 7 years to do it. So I don't know. People always say, "Oh, you've got a lot of stuff." It's like, well, what else was I supposed to do for 7 years? I don't know.
I dig it. So what are so the one of the vibes that's going around now is this whole do it yourself thing. Is that sort of how you started?
Yeah, yeah. Just I don't know. I just started because um, I'd often have kind of catchy melodies or things stuck in my head, and I'd try to think, what band is that? What song is that stuck in my head? And then I'd realize that it's not a band or it's not a song. It was just something that I came up with, some stupid thing that I came up with. So I decided, you know what? Why don't I just try and record it and see what happens? So it started off just as a kind of little bit of fun, just to mess around on my new laptop and um, stuff like that. And then I just decided to put it online and stuff like that, and um, never stopped.
Um, what people like, like I said, I didn't do much research. One of the things like types genres is what really freak me out because I just think everything is like rock or rap or you know what I mean. Like I really think that
Yeah,
there's like
we're rap. We're
your
definitely rap.
your rap, right? But people are saying like lo-fi, garage pop, noise pop. Even I seen the word tropical used in what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
What would you say to someone that hasn't heard you yet? What would you tell them your sound is like?
Um, Probably just garage pop. Probably is putting it simply. Uh, People say lo-fi, which just means that it's recorded badly, which is which is a real compliment.
Okay,
Thanks
so
very much.
this is awesome because the other day I was with a friend and she says to me, "What is lo-fi?" And I told her, "I don't know, but it sounds like something that I would do." Like just
Yeah.
like
Well,
I'll sit in front
probably
of this green thing and I'll put
probably
something
doing a
behind
TV
it.
show on Skype is as lo-fi as it gets
Yeah,
for TV.
yeah,
Yeah. Do you use that as a green screen? Can you put in weird backgrounds and stuff?
I do. And I want to talk to you about that for sure because one of the things that um, I think is cool about you guys is that you've put out a lot of videos too, and not, it's 2012. We're going on 2013, and if you if you're not visually stimulating people, they start looking the other direction, right? Like I put out this podcast, and I really think that the TV portion or the video portion of it all is really a big thing, and I looked at a lot of your videos. You have more than probably some bands out there right now, and I
Yeah.
noticed you do a lot of green screen work. And I
Yeah.
one of my
Wait,
favorite
what? That's
parts.
not green screen. That's. I'm
Okay,
actually in a child's playground. I'm actually underwater.
yeah,
What are you talking about?
I love
Yeah.
it because it's one of the things that we here at Beneath Everything and pride ourselves on, or what our low definition factors, where we do everything on the one computer. We're not trying to get like super hardcore with lighting to make the green screen awesome.
Yeah.
Like this is just a sheet on the wall. You know what I mean? Like it's really just really low budge, and we kind of like it that way. Is that sort of something you're going with, or is it just, or would you rather do some high budget thing and you're just it's the recession?
Well, I don't even have a green screen to be quite honest. I don't even have a green sheet like you do. I actually just use these like off-white cream walls, and that's why that's why it doesn't even look good for a green screen. That's why it looks even more. It's because because of my own skin color, I kind of blend in with the wall,
Yeah.
and when I put the effect on it, I generally just it doesn't look like the things in the background. It just looks like it's projected on top of me. So yeah, it's even cheaper than using a green screen or a green sheet like you have. I'm
Oh,
jealous of your green sheet.
yeah, yeah. I love it. I think it's really cool because it's one of the things that I think is really cool about what you guys got on. One, videos. Two, you're going with this green screen kind of vibe thing. This keying out any color. I love the keying out of any color. Man, I dig that
Yeah.
vibe. It's very do it
Yeah.
yourself. What I've listened to a lot of your stuff. It's to me first thing that I think of. I was talking to the intern here, Mark, about what I thought. We're having you guys on. Listen to this stuff on Bandcamp, etc. Who do you think this sounds like? I don't know. Like, there's not much out there that I think I'd throw you in with. The closest thing that I think I could think of is like the Black Lips or something like that. Is Who are other people saying you guys sound like, or do you feel like you're on
Eh,
your own out there?
no, we're certainly not on our own, but I don't know. I think I don't have the I don't have the longest attention span. So some of our stuff sounds much different to other stuff, and some of the No Monster Club stuff is just me solo, and some of it is as a three-piece kind of rock band. So that stuff would be a lot more like maybe like the Black Lips or the Strokes or some reference points like that. But it does vary throughout the kind of the catalog, throughout the repertoire. Some of like one song that we have that I did on my own is called "Wish Me Well," and it uses a sample from the song "Sweets for My Sweet" by Searchers, a Liverpool band. But when I released this song, everybody said that it sounded like something that you might hear at a Hawaiian low.
Uh-huh.
What's it called?
A luau.
Yeah, a luau. So people started saying, "Oh, like, can you believe these guys are from Dublin?" Da 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 da. It's like, yeah, not only am I from Dublin, but it was a sample from a Liverpool band. And so yeah, I don't know. People make strange references, and I love when they do because it often makes me laugh. You know, I think when people write about No Monster Club or write about what we sound like or stuff like that, I just people's interpretations of stuff is always funny because I know it all and I'm just reading it and sort of just be like, ah, ha, ha, I know more than you know. So
That's a good
I don't know
feeling.
myself, to be quite honest.
Oh, that's cool. Your influences then. Who influenced you in, I guess, making music?
Um, do you know the Polyphonic Spree?
Mm-hmm.
Probably the Polyphonic Spree. Well, there is like a few kind of rock bands that I listened to when I was a teenager, like the Revs and the Strokes and the Libertines and stuff like that. But the main band that I listened to since I was about 12 or 13 was the Polyphonic Spree. Uh, Actually, that's a lie because they weren't even around when I was 12 or 13. It was about 15 probably. All my childhood is smushed into one. But yeah, I like what they do quite a lot. And Tim the Lauder and two other members of the Spree were in a band previously called Tripping Daisy. In the 90s, they were like psychedelic rock and stuff. So I think his entire career trajectory has been stuff that I like. And personally, making music, I like the idea of holding the Polyphonic Spree as a sort of reference point almost, because they've got a theremin and they've got a piano and they've got trumpets and trombones and a percussionist and everything, and there's no way that I, or even there's no way that I on my own could sound like the Polyphonic Spree. There's no way that I, with Mark and Paddy, could ever sound like the Polyphonic Spree. And I think having them as a reference point is better than having a three-piece rock band as a reference point, because then we might just end up sounding like a three-piece rock band. So I think having something a bit weirder might help distinguish ourselves from, like, even like probably my favorite bands are like Polyphonic Spree, Animal Collective, and stuff like that. Dan Deacon would be someone I like a lot as well. So people who don't necessarily even use guitars as their main instrument, I like just, you know, being inspired by the songwriting more than anything else.
I dig it. You guys tour?
Yeah, played a lot around Ireland and especially Dublin, but we've been outside as well. We did a tour of Europe last summer. Switzerland, Italy, France, and Spain. We played in Italy with a friend of ours called Panda Kid, who you should check out. But that was fun, and you can see we made a video called "Be My Bone," which came out earlier this year, and the video for that is the camcorder footage that we shot when we were in Europe using this camera.
Yeah, I love it. I dig that. So, what does someone expect from a show of yours?
A lot of technical difficulties.
Love it.
The guitar plug, the plug for the guitar pedals always messes up. We always spill beer on it, and it always, you know, gets frizzled. We often wear shorts, which can often be frowned upon by people, bands wearing shorts. But I like the idea of it. We wear blue shorts and blue, white, and red T-shirts which say "No, Monster, and Club." So I think that's a really kind of goofy, silly look, and I think looking stupid is a good thing, because often at a concert people are looking around at each other and they're, you know, really self-conscious about dancing, or really self-conscious about looking like they're enjoying themselves even. So when there's three people up at the top of the room who just look stupid from the start, I think people feel a lot, they kind of drop their guard a bit, and they feel a lot less self-aware about them looking stupid, because nobody could look stupid than these three guys in their shorts and matching T-shirts. And because of the shorts, our drummer Paddy, his testicles often pop out, because they're very old shorts which have been nibbled by some sort of rodent or something. So that happens, and then, you know, people sometimes mosh and crowd surf and dance about and sing along, and we try to get a bit of a community spirit as much as we can. That's what I like best, really.
That's cool. So are you guys on a label?
No.
What is that?
We've released stuff on various labels basically, but we don't have a deal, or we don't have anything like that. So it's kind of somebody will contact us and say, "Hey, are you working on anything?" And we'll be like, "Oh, actually, we're doing an EP." And then they'll be like, "Oh, okay, we'll release that EP." And then for the next one, somebody else will contact. So the last, we had an EP last year which came out on an Italian label, and another one that came out on an Australian label. And then earlier on this year, we released an album on a Northern Irish label, and then next month there's one coming out on a label based in Chicago. So it's nice to kind of spread out a bit as well, because although they're very small labels, so they're limited in what they can do, but if we do short runs on each one of them, I feel like, you know, if you can sell 100 cassettes in Chicago and 100 CDs in Italy, well, then it kind of helps build up our, you know.
I dig it. Do you think that you need a label?
No. Most of it, like, I started off putting stuff up on MySpace, and then there was a Dutch net label called Rack and Ruin Records, which was brilliant for starting off, because they released stuff for free, and they had a sort of a fan base of people who just liked anything that the record put out, or that the label put out, so they could kind of get into it that way. So it's nice to be kind of affiliated with a collective to help each other and scratch each other's backs. But with SoundCloud and Bandcamp and stuff, it's easy enough to do it on your own, I guess.
Right.
Although if you want to do a physical thing, you got to have a few few quid yourself.
Um, well, in Dublin, this is where you're from. Where exactly? Dublin, right? Is where you're at.
Right now, yeah, I'm in Dublin city centre in Temple Bar, which um, which is basically the centre of Dublin. It doesn't get any more touristy and central than where I am right now. It's
Um,
basically it's a stereotypical me sitting in Temple Bar as if I was talking to you and you were in a coconut hut and on a beach. So, um,
we are in Hawaii, so it's like the mecca of tourism as
where
well.
are you?
So
Like in the city or what?
no, we are in the right now. We're actually in the process of getting a new studio to be able to do this from, which is in the main area where all the tourism is. Right now, we are in the desert of Hawaii, of the island of Hawaii. We are like in the boonies right now. I cannot
Wow,
wait. Yeah, we're in like the boonies. Um,
I didn't even.
can you believe it? They
I'm a
are
little bit.
boonies.
I'm a little bit ignorant of Hawaii. All I know is what everyone knows, but I didn't even know there was a desert.
Yeah, it's hot and dry where we're at. It's kind of like the driest part of the island. Everywhere's green, but where we are, we're like super brown and dusty.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of shitty.
What kind of reaction do you know? Like when people think of Hawaii, they probably think of like blue Hawaii
Yeah.
and
You know,
stuff like that. Is that
you,
frowned upon?
no, you know what happens is that here in Hawaii, our economy is so tourism, it's only tourism, really, that
Yeah,
where I'm at right now, tourists never
yeah,
hear about. Like it's not on any of the maps. You know what I mean? Like on a tourist map, it has the shape of the island that they're on, and
yeah,
for instance, this island, and it'll have all the names of all the places that our state would be okay with them going, and then
yeah,
all the places that our state doesn't want them to go. For example, where I'm at right now, those aren't
yeah,
on the map, and like all like public transportation. Our public transportation is really good, but like all the buses that and stuff that comes this direction towards where we are don't necessarily cater to the tourists. So a tourist won't accidentally get on a bus that's going to end up where we are and see
right, right,
the dirty brown
yeah,
area. Like you're kind of like, oh, this is where the untouchables over here. It's kind of fun.
yeah.
It's
You've got it. Yeah, you've got a different side.
yeah.
Because like my friend's family who's over in Hawaii at the moment, they went to see the Dark Knight Rises last week,
Hmm.
and after what happened in America, there was all police and stuff at the cinema, and we were really surprised. It was like, what? Nobody's going to do that in Hawaii. Like
Right.
maybe it'll happen in the mainland, but surely that wouldn't happen in Hawaii. So
Yeah. Here in
I
Hawaii,
guess
we don't have that kind of stuff very often. But
yeah,
like when it happens here in Hawaii, it's big news. Like I can remember. I've lived here my whole life, and I can remember like the four big things that like occurred along those
yeah,
lines in my lifetime, and everybody here knows who they are. Like Brian Uwasuji was the Xerox copier guy that went nuts and shot everybody up. This is like
yeah,
20 years ago. But everybody remembers
yeah.
those things. But yeah, those things don't
Because I
really
think
happen here.
most people have like a rose tinted view of like Hawaii, and it's like how in America probably there's a rose tinted view of Ireland about fields
Yeah,
and pastures and stuff, and
yeah,
they'd probably be surprised at some of the stuff that
yeah.
happens here. But I guess yeah,
Here in Hawaii, homelessness is big. There's an area here where there's a bunch of people living on the beach because they have no. It's rough here in certain areas, and the rest of the world never hears about it.
and it's not a choice. It's not a chosen way of life living on the
No,
beach.
no, there's a lot of poor people here. Like
Okay,
if you're not in tourism, if you don't speak Japanese here, it's rough for you, bro. And it's really expensive to live here. So if you're not rocking like two jobs or a really really good one, you're on one. You're right there on the cusp of being homeless. It's rough here for
wow,
certain people,
all
but
right,
it's that rose colored shit that you're talking about. It's
yeah.
not paradise for everybody, that's for sure.
I've got official Beach
Oh,
Boys
stop!
Hawaiian shirt on.
I love it.
There you go.
Did you wear it just for me, or was that what you were was that what you were wearing all day today?
No, I'm actually wearing an actual shirt under it,
Oh,
and I just saw that when I was turning on the Skype thing, I saw it and thought I pulled on. But it's got all the it's made in Hawaii,
oh,
and
good.
it's got all the lyrics for Surfing USA scribbled across it, and it's official Beach Boys merchandise. I bought it on eBay for a silly price. Of course, it doesn't fit because these things are made for bigger people than myself.
That,
But
that's one of the things here about Hawaii. Everybody here is giant.
I've
Like
got another Hawaii. I don't even know what this is. I see where this is made. Bossini. I think it was probably made in Italy, but this one was definitely made in Hawaii. I swear to
Cool.
God.
Yeah, cool. Our economy thanks you indirectly. That's for
All
sure.
right.
Okay, so you've got a bunch of albums out. Your latest one is called Dublin. Is am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay, this one's pretty hard to get, right?
Yeah, it's gone. It's we made 250 of them, and yeah, there's a few floating around in record shops around the world, but I'm not quite sure how many are left.
Yeah.
But
So on
all of we had most of them, and most all of ours are gone.
That's hot. I like that. That's good, right? If you can get rid of everything, like everybody buys
Yeah,
it up, that's good.
I've only got one copy myself, and here it is. But it's I don't know if you can see.
Okay.
It's signed by two people who aren't me. So my only copy of my own album is signed by two boys. They're called Jedward. Have you ever heard of them?
No.
Well, they're two. I mean, a lot of people hate them. They're pop singers, and they're as close to the Irish Justin Bieber as you'll get. But I had this record in my bag, and I was walking down the street, and I saw them, and I just decided to ask them to sign it. I'm big fans of theirs,
That's cool.
even though
So
you know they're very funny.
it's really hard to find. We went online, we looked at stuff. I know that you have it on Bandcamp, but just a few tracks off of it, correct?
That's right. We tried to. Yeah, you're right.
I think there's only like 4 tracks.
Yeah, we did the physical release, and I fully intended on putting it online once the physical one had sold out. But you've just reminded me that I didn't actually do that, so I might do that now.
Okay, cool.
After we hang up, actually.
So one of the things that we like to do when we have a band on is me and the intern, we like to play this game that's called Who's Cooler. And basically what we do is we listen to the band's latest album, most recent album, and we pick a track that we like the most. We tell you which one we like, and then you tell us who's cooler. Now, in this case, your most recent album, we were only able to listen to 3 tracks off of it. And
Yeah.
it sort of kind of put us in a position to be where, like, oh, well, it could be anybody. Like, it's a toss-up when there's only 3. So what we decided to do, because you made a lot of videos, we thought instead of doing that, we would pick which video we liked the best, and then you could tell us who's cooler by that. Is that cool?
Wait, what do you mean? Who? I don't understand the game.
Who do you think is cooler? You decide who's cooler, me or Mark the intern, by the video that we pick. Yeah?
Okay.
Okay, so the video that I picked was for your track Walk My Idols, and Mark the intern picked your most recent one, I believe, La La Land. He picked that strictly because he's a big fan of dogs talking.
What's his favorite example of dogs talking?
I don't know. He said YouTube, man. YouTube dogs talking. He made me play this video of this guy that did with this dog, man. It was pretty crazy with dogs talking.
I thought you meant all the movies in the 90s and stuff where, like Nickelodeon movies, where it's like, we gotta save the dog.
Yeah, he probably does. Like Air Bud or whatever, yeah? Air Bud. He's smiling at me right now. I just said Air Bud. It's a movie. He loves it.
Does Odie talk in Garfield movies?
I don't know.
No, probably not.
And
who's cooler?
Who's cooler?
You are, definitely, because I made the Waking My Idols video and I didn't make the La La Land video.
Oh.
I prefer the La La Land video, but I personally prefer the La La Land video. But you're cooler because you're blowing my trumpet.
Right on.
Rather than the professional film director Jed Murray, who directed the La La Land video, and for which we are eternally grateful.
I appreciate that, man, because I've been on a losing streak, man. I've been
Really?
I've been on the uncool list for like 3 interviews now. Thank you.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I especially wouldn't have said that Mark's cooler, because then, like, I don't know how long we've got left in the interview, but I don't want this to get awkward.
Okay, asterisk next to my win. I'll put it there. That's okay.
No, it was definitely you, 100%. You won, no doubt about it.
Cool. Another thing we like to do with everybody that we have on, every guest we have on, we ask a few standard questions, because we think that these questions give us a good picture of who you are like, or what you're like.
Yes.
So our first question to you is, are unicorns overrated?
That is a tough one. No, they're not overrated. How could they be overrated?
I don't know. That's why I'm always looking for the person that says no, or they are.
I mean, cats are overrated.
Okay, I can go with that.
But yeah, cats are overrated because cats exist. And unicorns, I mean, you can't overrate something that you have no idea about. Nobody's ever met, like, I've met cats. And let me tell you, the amount of stuff you see every day online about cats is way, way, way overrated. But I've never met a unicorn. And, I mean, I've got a high opinion of them, but I haven't even met one. So I'd imagine that, yeah, yeah,
Cool.
they're not overrated.
What is your favorite alcoholic beverage?
I like this, which is why I'm drinking it.
What
It's a
is?
Swedish. Oh, it's in reverse, isn't it?
No, it
It's
looks good on our side.
Copperberg strawberry and lime. It's a Swedish cider
Oh,
with which tastes like strawberries, and I think anything that tastes like strawberries is difficult to top.
yeah, I love it. I last a few months ago, I was in London for a couple weeks, and while I was
Ooh,
there, all I did was drink cider the whole time. Like I couldn't get enough of
English
it, man.
cider.
All of it, anything that I could touch, anything that I could get, I was like, oh, gotta have it. I love it,
Yeah,
man.
England's big into its cider, but that apple cider can really make you
Sick,
feel
yeah,
unwell.
yeah, it can
Yeah,
make you sick,
even
right?
that, as good as it is, like you gotta have two cans and then kind of give it a rest for the night.
Yeah. Have you ever been so drunk you fell down?
Um, does anybody remember the answer to this one? I mean, I'm go. I'd like to say no, but I know that if anybody that I know is watching this, they'll be like,
Liar.
yeah. What about that night I had to help you up for 6 hours? I'll just say yeah because I don't want to be busted as a liar. And also, I'm sure there was like, but if I don't, yeah, if I was drunk enough to fall down, I'm definitely drunk enough not to remember falling down.
Love it. What's the weirdest thing about yourself?
Um, you can't see obviously, but I've got 4 legs.
That's pretty weird, bro. That
I'm
tops
going
it.
in the morning to get 2 of them removed, but
And
yeah, I'm glad this isn't a personal interview because normally when I do the person to person interviews, I turn up at the bar or whatever, and they see me walk in with my 4 weird legs, and they just pretend that they look the other way. So, this is the first interview I've actually successfully done because you haven't seen that I have 4 legs, but now you're after completely ruining it. You're probably gonna hang up now once you know I have 4 legs. The freak.
we're pretty close, freak. No. Favorite curse word?
Um, does that like a really rude word?
Or whatever you, what is your go-to one? Like mine is fuck. Like instead of like some people go like and when they talk, mine is always like fuck.
Mine is I normally well, it's not a curse, but like if I like hit my head off something, like say if I hit my head off a wall, I generally ask the wall if the wall is serious. Like I hit my head off the wall, it's like, are you actually serious? Like I get angry at the wall.
That's cool.
Um, yeah, the F word definitely has been dropped a few times. Um, yeah, I try not to curse,
Okay, that's cool, man. That's cool. What's next for
but
you
fuck
guys?
that. Um, well, I for the past like this started off as a solo thing, and then Paddy and Mark started playing drums and bass respectively, and everything we've recorded in the past 2 or 3 years has been as a 3 piece. But in the meantime, I've been continuing to do my own stuff, and the product of that is a tape which I'm releasing next month. It's called Posthumous Hits, and it's a 90-minute long tape. There's 46 tracks on it. It's basically me clearing out the hard drive of all the stuff that I've been working on in the past couple of years, but just have been too busy to really like. If I had recorded them about 5 years ago, it would have been about 3 or 4 separate albums. But because I've been so busy doing other stuff, it's just accumulated into this one massive one. So that's coming out next month.
How are people are able to get
and that
that?
should be good.
Will it be available? Like you're gonna put it out, or
Uh, yeah, yeah. The best thing is probably to follow us on Twitter, No Monster Club, or Facebook, No Monster Club, and follow it there because I'll be putting up a new video in a couple of weeks, and then I think the tape is going to be available on the 3rd of September. So it's coming out on a record label called Already Dead, based in Chicago. So basically, if you have any interest in us, probably just go on Facebook or Twitter and keep in touch with us there.
is
Say
there
hello.
right on? Is there anything else before I let you go that you would like to tell the world?
Um, for the past 2 years, I've worked in the National Leprechaun Museum in Dublin, and then I was thinking, because I was talking to you guys, I was looking up like Hawaiian mythology and Hawaiian folklore and stuff like that. And I was just wondering, is there like in Hawaii, is there like a version of the leprechaun?
There's what we call the menehune, and it's close to that. They're like little people that live in the forest that
Yeah,
you never see. You're not, if you see them, you're lucky, right? I
yeah,
like to think that I've seen one. I tell people I've seen one, but I was all out of my mind when I did. So
yeah.
it's difficult, but we do have what's called the menehune. Um, it is a small little person that lives in the forest. That's supposedly kind of lucky, I guess.
Yeah.
Actually, my school that I went to for high school, our school, how everybody's like the Tigers or whatever. My school
Yeah.
was the Menahunes. Was like the
Really?
yes. It's pretty awkward that you're writing that up, but yes, we do have. It's called the Menehune.
The
Like
Menehune.
yeah, Menehuna. If you're interested
That's
in
really
that
cool.
stuff, yeah.
And would there be stories about the Menehune
Yeah,
if I type them in there?
yeah, type it in, man. I think there's
Okay.
a Wikipedia on there because I think I've linked to Menehune before the reference. Um, yeah, that's cool that you.
And what's the best Hawaiian movie ever made?
Oh, Hawaiian movie.
Like,
Uh,
well, yeah,
about
not
Hawaii.
not 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 movie, not like Blue Hawaii, but like uh, just a normal movie that just happens to be made by a Hawaiian man or a Hawaiian woman
Oh,
or
we don't really. Our thing isn't really. We don't really have something like that. Like if there's there was that movie just with George Clooney a little while ago. Fuck, I forgot what it's called, man. It was pretty good. As far as it not depicting Hawaii in a fucked up way. Like people have this perceived notion of what Hawaii is like, and when a movie is made or based in Hawaii, it's
yeah,
very, you know, hyped up, and they blow it out of proportion and make it like, oh, they're in Hawaii, like it's all, like it's not always
yeah,
sunny here. You know what I mean? It's not, and in this
yeah.
movie, I forgot what it was called. Man, I wish I did. George Clooney, look it up. George Clooney was in
I
it.
will.
It hasn't
It's
been
the same
very.
when Hollywood makes a movie set in Ireland. I know what you're talking about because they start doing the worst accents and they're wandering around the countryside. And I mean, Ireland, I mean, has moved with the times as much as any other country. Not always for the better, but it's the exact. It's that's what I was just thinking today when I was thinking about this. I was thinking that Hawaii and Ireland probably share a lot in common in trying to uh, get away from stereotypes and things like that.
I
Um,
would agree with that.
cool. And is there a big like tourist trade around Barack Obama and stuff like that?
There is. It's it's a touchy one for us here. Like our state is very democratic. Like our whole, our state, we have like same sex, civil unions. Our state
Yeah,
kind of is very laid back, and because we're so multicultural here,
yeah,
like Caucasian is the minority here in Hawaii versus on the mainland, it's generally not anywhere you go. And so
yeah,
our culture here, as far as our American culture, it's driven by Asian cultures, and the Japanese are big here. A lot of Japanese here, like menus in certain areas have English and Japanese, and so um, Barack Obama is kind of big for us. It puts us kind of on the map, but at the same time, it it's put us in the map in a weird way because the whole vibe that a lot of people like to say Barack Obama is not American.
oh yeah,
So so that whenever anybody says that, it kind of takes a big shit on us, right? It's basically saying anybody born in Hawaii is an American as well, and
Yeah.
there's this weird spotlight on us because of it, and so I think
Yeah.
we're not. There's not like a lot of like Barack. When I was in England, I saw a lot more Barack Obama shirts, than
Yeah.
and like bobbing head dolls and shit
Yeah.
than you see them here.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, even like last year he visited Ireland, and it was discovered that his great 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 grandmother had gone to America from a tiny town in Ireland. So suddenly Barack Obama was Irish, and the town Moneygall really cashed in, and there's now, even still down there, there's like the Obama Cafe and Obama stuff. But yeah, when he came over, he really went with it as well.
Yeah, no, he
So
blows it
when
up.
he gave a speech on literally the street right outside where I am now, which started off with, "My name's Barack Obama of the Moneygall Obamas, and I came back here to find our lost apostrophe like Obama." So he really ran with it as much as he could, which was funny. But yeah, it's kind of
Yeah,
weird as
we
well.
kind of have this kind of weird vibe too because he grew up here, but he tells everybody his home is Chicago, right? So
Yeah.
there's this two homes thing. One of the things too, I think a lot of people are when a president here in America like ends up, either losing or having to retire the post, they always have a library named after them, right? And it's a big deal. Like that's where the money goes, right? And it's a big deal to
Yeah.
have it. And we're already suspecting he's not going to put it here. So a lot of what I mean?
Really,
Yeah, a lot
he
of
gets
people.
to choose.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh,
And most of the time he's been saying he lives in Chicago. He tells a lot of people he's from Chicago.
he only wanted you for his birth cert.
Right, exactly. It's kind of a weird one. Our also the way we elect our president with electoral votes. Our state doesn't have very many. We have two, and we are the last polls to close. So generally, our presidents are picked before we even finish voting because of time zones. So
Yeah.
I understand why he blows up Chicago because there's nothing really to
But he's
gain.
gonna go for another. He's gonna go for another run, isn't he?
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
We're very positive.
So
Positive that
there,
we're
he won't. There'll be no decisions being made about the library for another 7 or so years. So
right. So we're okay.
that's
Um, before I let you go, do you want to cut a little bumper for us? Like, hey, this is Bobby from No Monster Club. You're watching Beneath Everything with Ronnie Rucker.
yeah. Is that it? Beneath everything, Ronnie Rucker.
Beneath Everything with Ronnie Rucker. You can say whatever you
Yeah.
want to, but that's the name of the show.
You don't want to say the channel or anything like that, no?
No, no, no. You don't need to do that.
Okay, cool.
Feel free.
Hey, this is Bobby from No Monster Club. I'm in Dublin, Ireland, and you're watching Beneath Everything with Ronnie Rucker.